Hey everybody, welcome back to Champ and Sons and our new Planet Coaster series that we have for you today. Going in is going to be our gift shop and I guess ride exit combined with the with a little drink stand food court thing next to it. You kind of see the foundation outlining right there on the right side of your screen. So I started designing this exit building. One, I was going to have multiple shops in there. I want to get some people in it, right? But then I decided that, maybe just a couple with a restroom. In reality, we are going to fill this in, but we are going to put in with TMTK items, gift shop, souvenir kind of items, things you'd find at the end of at one of the exit stores that you see in most theme parks. And we take a pretty good amount of time to fill this in. So in reality, what you're seeing was 2 hours of the Twitch live stream, sped up quite a bit, but I think it turns out it fills its purpose that we needed it to, and it actually looks pretty good. So here I had mentioned covering some of that stuff up with concrete, which it does actually work. I kept the ramps wooden for now. I might go back at a different time and cover them up with some concrete pillars or something like that, but decided against it so far. Now what I'm filling in here is going to be the flooring for the gift shop, and I figured why not make it a little checkerboard. Went with the panel flat roofs. Kept to the same color theme as the ride, so we will have that kind of taken care of here in this one. And then covered up the bathroom and the little shop that we got going in this section, just to kind of make it all fit and with everything else going on in the store. Hopefully that will get some people going in. And like I said, I'm building a food court next to it, so I'm not too stressed about people walking in here, especially since they have to walk through here to come out of the ride. Now, we do have, we are going to put in some shelves, like I said, plenty of TMTK souvenir gift shop items. But one thing I also do is I take the little, I guess, roping, not rope, but it's part of the fence, I guess is really what it is. I take the little fence line and put that in there, which prevents the peeps from walking through those things, through the shelves. So we will lay those out and kind of hopefully it gives them enough space. If not, I'll probably have to go through and remove some of those. But right here is going to be essentially the checkout counter, and at the end of most of these rides, what you see is where you get off and see the goofy face you were making as you rounded the corner whenever that camera went off. So we are putting up some TV screens. I just wanted to see what that was. But we are going to put up some TV screens here. There's 8 cars per train, so we're going to put up 8 TVs. Once we get some people into the park, I'll take those screenshots and then we'll load them up into it. So that way it's basically like getting off a ride, seeing your car there, your little picture thing, and so forth. Now, I had a TMTK register. Okay, I did. I didn't know where it was. I do find it later on, but just didn't know where it was at the current time. So what I went through is put the little TV wall post on the desk and then just angle the TV back to make it look like essentially a more modern day kind of register system that you see in any store for being able to check out and buy stuff from the shop. Now, I am putting in a couple of these vending machines. One, I liked how they looked in reality. Or do they serve a purpose? No. I don't think I did. I thought about putting these other ones in, but decided against it. So here you're going to start seeing us put in a lot of these little gift shop items. That one, I'm not sure who created them. I don't remember. That one, the postcard thing that went in there, I'm fairly certain, if I had to bet, was someone a part of the Bro Nation crew, just because it has the symbol on one of the little postcards there. So I can only assume that it had to be somebody with them that actually created that. Like I said, I don't remember. I wished I did, but I don't. So it is what it is. Here we're just setting up the outlining for the shelves. Nothing too major, but we are putting it in, getting it ready to go, so we can start lining our shelves with items. That's what we're going to be doing from this point. And like I said, it takes a pretty good while. And setting up these shelvings was no easy matter. There is those people that have that little Robin Hood animatronic, and I guess I probably actually could have put one in too, to really try to get an accurate sizing on here, but I chose not to do that. Why did I choose not to do that? I can't tell you. It just never popped in my head, and as I'm looking at it, it seems like it would be way too big. But then again, this is a Planet Coaster world, so size in the Planet Coaster world is obviously a lot larger than, see, there's a register, found it, but size is different. Everything here is a lot more massive, it feels like, at least. A lot more massive than what things really are, except for this cup of coffee that I'm placing down. And that was an interesting thing to place. That one, I will tell you, I tried to click on those damn mugs so often, and at one point I'm clicking on the little backdrop of the shelf, and then that's selecting the mugs. I couldn't tell you what was going on there. See, you can tell where I'm clicking and those things are getting highlighted. It just drove me wild. So I really didn't put that many of those things down. And you'll see a lot of the stuff that we fill out, it's pretty much basic stuff for what you see in a theme park. Nothing too major. So, it's one of those it is what it is kind of situations. But I really like how this section turns out. And once we get all these little goodies planted down, all the different souvenirs planted down, I really like how this little shop works, the exit building, and then also the drink stand next to it. It's not going to be anything fancy or anything major, but I just kind of like how it looks. But I'm going to go ahead and I will hop off here for a minute while we finish putting down some of these TMTK items, and I will be back here in just a little bit. So definitely stay tuned for that, and I will catch y'all here in a minute. And I am back, everybody. And hopefully y'all enjoyed seeing how that shop turned out with the lighting, all the different souvenirs that went up. I think it, like I said, it turned out to be a pretty solid building. So now what we've got going on is going to be the entrance queue line. And this turned out to be pretty fun to build. These things normally can be kind of tedious going all the way across, making sure you stick into the gaps and the lanes and all that stuff. But I think it turned out pretty well. We do go through and I will fill in those grassy spots, so it is going to be essentially one concrete pad because let's face it, in reality, for the most part, when you have a lot of cattle pen situations, it's going to be on a solid surface. Maybe, in some right I'll put in a flower planter thing kind of separating it out, but for the most part, at least in my experience, generally once you hit the cattle pen kind of section, it's going to be a concrete pad that you're standing on. So that's what we did here, as we will go over and place down some concrete pieces. Now you got to remember that the entrance queue is thinner than a regular path, so it takes a little finagling with the concrete pattern there, but it is what it is, and I think it still turns out to be pretty good, and does what it's supposed to do for us. So it comes out in a way that covers what we need it to. We don't have too much sticking out, and I think really kind of I'm not gonna say brings everything together, because I mean, good lord, really, it's not going to. I do put a cover not just on the path with the concrete that we're filling in here, but I do put a cover over top. Now I know there are some parks and some climates where it's okay to be just standing in the sun for God knows how long, but in Texas it can be abysmal doing that in the summertime when it's 105 degrees, 108 degrees outside. So I'm trying to provide as much shading as possible. I wanted to fill in that gap with the bushes, and I just really didn't like how it looked, even with that tree. I think I think that's the better way to do it. Have the one tree with the smaller, and all I did is I sunk down one of the beech trees. So I think it turned out to be pretty decent in that respect, right? Like I said, I will put a cover over top of that, so everybody is going to be in the shade for the most part, and protected from anything falling off the ride. But it's one of those. It is what it is. But I think it turned out pretty good. So now what you're seeing is us get ready for the drink section. Our little drinking cart. One, I like the basic wood path. Don't know why, I just do. Makes me feel good. But building this one was a little interesting, right? Because it's one of those things where you have an idea, a picture in your mind of it, And I'll admit, while I was building it, it wasn't really feeling like it was coming together. I liked how it ended up, don't get me wrong. I love how this thing ends up. But it just gave me, I don't think I'd say the heebie-jeebies, but gave me that uneasy kind of feeling like, damn it, it just don't feel right. Can't put my tongue on what it is, but it just doesn't feel right. So, in the end, like I said, it looks pretty good. And especially at night, once we get all the lighting around it, it kind of does fit in. Now, you may ask yourself, if we got a blue ride over there, why are we putting in a green wall? Just to add in some dang color to the situation. That's really it. And I didn't want this thing to be a open kind of, or to be a closed-in drink stall. I thought about going with a more flatter roof, kind of like how you see right here, because I know at least at Fiesta, Texas, around the River Rapids ride, there's a little food court section that's kind of like that, pretty open. But I decided to go with the incline roof. One, it just makes it feel that more open that way. Two, it fits with height lines, sight lines coming from the parking lot, looking over the fence, and being able to see that. So I think it turns out pretty good as well, getting all these signs put in, all the support beams going. We do dress up the area with some of the park benches for people to sit at and have their beverage, chill out, cool off, that kind of fun stuff. And then we start to get some lighting in. Okay. Now, people have mentioned or asked what's going to happen with the rest of this area, right? So we are going to continue to work on this area before we switch over to the other side. I want to get a couple more things put in to kind of get this section closed off. One, we're going to finagle with the pathing, not by actually changing it. No, by using those little barriers for people to walk around and really essentially creating something that, that it gives it some shape, gives it some tone. So it's not just a straight on dead shot till you reach the turn. It's going to give it some shaping to it. And I think it turns out pretty decent in the end, from what I've done for the most part off camera. Don't worry, I will eventually probably do that on camera. It's like I said, most of this recorded footage comes from Twitch live streams, so it's one of the, I don't really want to just completely bore everybody with, oh, here's some detailing and here's us doing some planters and potting, right? So take that for what it is. Here we're about to change up this concrete pad. I have it at that angle. Now, one thing at some point, what I will end up doing is using two different layers of it and kind of covering that stuff up to have them come together to make it look like a seamless transition. But I think here it works out pretty well to come across the flat way. I think the way you can see the clipping through with each other, I just didn't feel right about it. Right, so I did remove that. And figured since, hey, we got this concrete going down, once again, it'd be a massive foundation, a lot to be laid out, but that's probably the way that it would actually be done in the end. You know what I mean? So we got that pad laid. I do extend it out some because I need it to cover the path work that we have for the most part. And I don't mind having those little open areas in the actual pathing so people walk around. I think it gives it a little attitude, a little tone to it. You know what I mean? And makes everything more, I know I'm not going to say realistic because I don't really build the most realistic buildings, at least in the world, mainly because I can't. But yeah, it gives it a nice, I think, more realistic feel to it. So spraying out the benches, putting them some covers. Once again, being in Texas, it's hot as shit in the summertime, so have some shade. Make the people, feel good about themselves. Give them some shading. Let them be cooled off and all that fun jazz is what we do. So taking a look at it, like I said, it doesn't feel like it fits until I think really once we start kind of getting things going and put in, I think it looks pretty good. Now, the area that's going to be in front of the store, we are going to fill that in. Right, and I think getting a lot better at filling in these empty spaces with the nature type stuff. It's something I do need to improve on, but I think it actually turns out pretty well the way we do it. And I really like how this part turns out with the planter, giving it a little bit more light, a little bit more vibrance, more color shifts, more color tones to it, and comes out pretty good. So kind of rock with it for the most part. But that's going to be it for me. The video is going to go on for a little while longer so you can see the end of the construction. You'll see what everything looks like at nighttime as well as the daytime. So definitely stay tuned for that. But I'm going to go ahead and quit bothering y'all with my voice and let y'all finish this one out. And I will see y'all in the next episode. Or if you'd like to join us on Twitch at Champ and Sons. On Twitch, it should be Saturday morning. It's on Saturdays, mornings or night. Stay tuned, take a look at it, join us there for the live video, for the live building of it. Join in the conversation, throw out some ideas on what you might want to see as a flat ride in the area. Throw out different color schemes and all that type of stuff. Definitely let's make this a group effort for the park. I'm completely down for that. And so, yeah, I'm going to leave it off here, let this thing finish up so y'all can see how this turns out. And I will catch y'all in the next episode, everybody. So, as always, stay safe. And, well, y'all know how it goes from here, right? Later, y'all.